Hello and welcome back to another video in the Moodle Course Development Series. I'm Joe Deegan, and in this video you'll learn how to use Moodle Lessons to make your courses more interactive. In the last section you learned how to create quizzes, and now you'll learn how to use the Moodle Lesson activity to provide a different type of assessment or activity. So let's start by taking a quick look at a completed lesson. Okay, so here we are in a lesson, and as you can see, it's a great way to create a presentation or a branching lesson with a series of web pages with quiz questions built in. In this example, I have a video embedded in the first page of the lesson, along with a question about the video so that students can watch it, then answer the question. And after answering the question, they can be given feedback, then continue on to the next page of the lesson. And something that's great about the lesson feature is that you can create a branching lesson by controlling which page the student will navigate next based off of their answer to the question. So let's go back to the course site, and I'll show you how to create a lesson. Lessons are easy to add to any course site using the Add an Activity or Resource option. And as usual, we'll need to turn editing on first, and then we'll be able to use the Add an Activity or Resource option. Okay, so now that I'm in editing mode, I can add my lesson to section 2 by clicking Add an Activity or Resource, and then I'll need to look for Lesson underneath the Activities section. And here we have it right here. And then after selecting Lesson, we'll click Add. And then after clicking Add, you'll be brought to this screen where you can enter a name and start configuring the settings for the lesson. So I'll start by entering a name. Then after entering the name, the first option I have is to enable the time limit if I'd like, but I'm just going to leave it disabled for this example. And you can also limit the dates that it's available using the Available From and the Deadline settings. And then the next setting we have is Maximum Number of Answers, which allows you to determine the maximum number of answer options you want to provide on lesson questions. Then in the next section is where you can configure how many points you want the lesson to be worth using the grade option. Then if we scroll down a little further, you can see that we have some more grade options. So now let's scroll down and take a look at our flow control settings, which allow you to configure how the lesson is navigated. Okay, and if I scroll down, the next option we have is pop up to file or web page, which allows you to choose a file or web page that you would like to have pop up in a new window for your students to use while they're completing the lesson. And this is a cool way of giving them a resource that they can use to complete the lesson. Then the next set of options allow you to give access dependent on the student completing another lesson in the course, or spending a certain amount of time on a different lesson. And once I have all of my settings configured, I can just go down here and click the Save and Display button so that I can start building my HTML pages and quiz questions for the lesson. So I'll go ahead and click Save and Display. After clicking Save and Display, we're brought to this screen where we have some options to import content and quiz questions, or we can start from scratch by creating new content pages and quiz questions. But for this example, we'll start from scratch by creating our own content and our own questions. And when it comes to creating the content from scratch, you have a few options. You can add a content page, a cluster, or a question page. The difference between a content page and a question page is that a content page will only have your content with no question. Question page will have content and then won't allow the student to continue in the lesson until they answer that question. So we'll start by adding a content page, and then I'll show you how to add a question page to follow that. So to add a content page, I'll click the Add a Content Page option. And then after clicking the Add a Content Page option, I'm brought to this screen where I can start by entering a title for the page. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And then this is where I'll put all the contents for page. And as usual, I have my HTML editor with all these options for formatting text or adding multimedia like videos or graphics. So I'll go ahead and add some quick text here just so we have something to show on there. Okay, so I've got some text, and I'll also add a quick video just so you can see how it looks like with some content. Okay, now that I've got my page content entered, I can go ahead and scroll down where I have all these content fields, which are used to give your students options to click on when they're done with the content. And this will allow them to navigate to the next part of the lesson. They have several content fields, which allows you to give your students several options for which page they want to go to. So for example, if you have several pages in your lesson, and you want to create a branching lesson by giving your students various options that go to different pages, you can do that by putting an option for each of the pages using these content fields. So at this point, I don't have any other pages created, so I'll just put an option to go to the next page in the Content 1 field. So I'll just go ahead and type Next Page, and then I'll want to select Next Page from the Jump menu. And that means when the student clicks on the word Next Page, they'll jump to the next page. And this is also what you would use to choose other pages or to choose random pages. Okay, now that I've got the Next Page option selected, I'll go ahead and scroll down and click Save Page. And after clicking Save Page, I'm brought to this screen where I can see the page I just created, and I have this drop-down menu where I can choose to create another page. So this time, let's create a question page by selecting Question from this menu. And after selecting Question, the first option I'll have is to select a question type. So you have a lot of options such as multiple choice, which is one of the more popular ones. And then you've also got essay, matching, numerical, short answer, and true false. Let's go ahead and do a multiple choice question for this example. So I'll select multi-choice, and then I'll click the Add a Question page. And as usual from here, I can enter my page title. So I'll say this is a test question page. And then I'll enter my page contents using my handy HTML editor. I'll skip the graphics on this one, but you could do it using these options. And I'll start putting in my answer options in the answer 1 and answer 2 field. You can see you have several options for answer fields. So I'll say my first answer option is the correct answer. And then we'll go ahead and leave this as Moodle Auto format. And then whatever you put in the response field is feedback that will be given to the student after they select that as the option. So we'll go ahead and we'll write great job since that's the correct answer. And then because it's the correct job, we want them to continue to the next page, and we'll give them a point of 1. You can make it any number of points, such as 10 or more, but we'll just go with 1 point. And then I'll put my wrong answer option here. And then for the response, I'll put sorry, that's incorrect. And since they got it wrong, we'll make them stay on this page and review the content again so that they can learn what the correct answer is. And finally, we'll scroll down and click Save Page. And there you go. You see I've got my test question page that I've just added now. So now I've got 2 pages. I've got the test lesson content page and the question page. Now let's go to the preview option to see how it looks. So I'll just click on the preview tab up here. And here's a preview of my lesson. So you can see this is that first content page I added with some text, and I added the video. And because it's a content page, all I have is the next page button. If you'll remember, I typed in next page and chose it to go to the next page. So after reviewing the content, then the student will click next page. And then it'll bring them to the question page that I created with some content and then the correct answer and wrong answers. So I'll click the correct answer and enter submit. And there it is. Great job. So that's a lesson. And that's all there is to it. It's pretty similar to setting up a quiz once you figure out how to create content pages and question pages. Okay, time for a little practice. Get to know the Moodle lesson a little better by creating your own. Make sure to test out different content and question pages, and maybe even try creating a branching lesson so you can see how it works. In this video, you learned how to make your courses more interactive with lessons. In the next video, you'll learn how to use another type of activity called an assignment. That's it for now. We'll see you in the next video.